Look, we're stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for words, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us in chains, a fish on a hook.
Look, harvesting not bodies, harvesting not organs. Got them real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door. Selling our souls, our daughters a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more. Don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cup when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello. Welcome to another Macam podcast where we cover everything from intense social topics to funny social trends. We are your host, Mark Jonathan.
G.
And we have a special guest today.
Kenny, how y'all doing? Pothead Kenny, however you want to do it,
Yes, sir. But before we get started, if we can have our brief disclaimer.
All right, so y'all know here at the Macam podcast, we cover a multitude of different topics, genres, all of that. And maybe a little controversy sometimes, but we are considered the experts. So, people come to us to get the answers and we, display what we got. So if you feel some type of way about what it is that we say, the first step I want you to do is evaluate yourself and figure out why do you feel some type of way, and then come back and holler at us and we can talk about it. We always open for discussion. That's what we do. So with that being said, welcome to our podcast, and we're going to go ahead and get into it.
Absolutely. So before we get started, we just wanted to start off with a little bit of some spoken word. And then it's titled Mental Health Within the Black Community. So let me go ahead and pull this up for us.
Love some spoken word.
Telling you. And any ads that you do see, we do not endorse. Y'all know the drill. But let's go ahead.
And I lost it on my phone. Oh, there it go.
Always taught to be strong in this world. Told to never let my guard down because at any moment I could be attacked without a moment's notice that my skin gave me a target. Skin that has persevered through many trials and tribulations, from seeing my mama raped by landlords, to my father being beaten and stripped of his manhood, to my brothers and sisters being separated into jobs for this bigger system. My skin has always been under attack. Yet somehow we prevailed through it all, through all the lynchings, literacy tests, new Jim Crows, war on drugs, the gentrifications, police brutalities, food deserts, mass incarcerations. We survived and adapted and pushed to change because our very existence depended on it. Our very existence depends on this Black strength. Strength that has carried us for decades, but is undermining an important aspect of our humanity and feeding in on itself. Being strong all the time took away our ability to speak about our weaknesses, our sadness, our mental illnesses. This silence is killing us. On top of that, we lack proper mental health care access and endure mistreatments by medical professionals who cannot relate to us in their practice. On top of that, we stigmatize mental illness to preserve this place of our strength, damaging ourselves, and among Black children observing a spike in suicide rates because they may feel that their place in heaven is way better than their place here today, because when Black life isn't valued enough for professional help, adequate housing, or even breathing, life here degrades in value in comparison to life after. Black bodies, strong Black souls are floating through the wind, seamlessly letting go. Strong Black bodies are screaming for help, but suffering in silence and being socially and systematically being put on quiet. Black souls are strong, but we do need help when we do fall through the cracks. That is why I want you to know that you can patch things up with me. All right, we can kick it back like it was a drive-through movie in the 1970s. We can get some help from people who actually understand us, refute our standards of stigmatizing mental illness, and fight against the structures that chronically misdiagnose what this really is. Fight against the racism that brings up our mental health issues and lowers our treatment options, bringing us one step closer to seeing no other option. I want us to see that we have a way to heal this wound that has been widening ever since day one with no means of contracting. I want us to know that the seed that we sow today is the harvest we reap tomorrow. And when we finally reap, we can find peace in these moments, noticing that the danger isn't gone, but we finally have a place where it feels like it is, the grounding of Black bodies.
Okay.
Man, so he brought up points. You feel me? One thing that I like the most that he said is they bring up our Black issues, but limit our treatment options. And then that leads us to think that there's no other option.
That was deep. That was deep. Because then when you think there's no other option, then you go to the only option, which is them. Then they tell you, oh, you have this, because they don't really care. They don't really know. They don't understand. So then, oh, you just got ADHD. You got ADD. You need Ritalin. Here, take this, take that. You know, so that was a deep statement right there.
It was, and it's like, you know, they label us, put a label on regular behaviors, and you know, want to drug you up. Starting, and then they start at a young age. You know, they notice the signs
when you're born.
And like, yeah, and it's like that's not who we are as a people. You know, these are normal behaviors. You can't, and they stigmatize it into and categorize it as mental health, which changes the game because there's other things that's mental health. You know, like our mental health. Okay, so let me tell you. So my grandfather, you know, had mental health, and it started with him when he was like 6, 7. They say he, you know, rode down a hill and got hit by a car. So that was his first incident. You know, kind of fucked him up, right? And never really healed properly from that. And then as life gone on, he, you know, fell to the drugs. He was a crackhead, or, you know, crack addict, a drug addict to other drugs, an alcoholic. But I remember when I was in like the 6th or 7th grade, and you know, was catching the bus after school, going, and I seen him at his usual spot, you know, on the corner of Bruce in Colorado. And you know, he told me, he said, everybody thinks I'm stupid, but I'm not stupid. I'm fun. I play the game that they want me to play. They already have this preconceived notion of who I am because I do drugs and I'm an alcoholic, and you know, I live off of my disability. So they have this preconceived notion about me already. So I don't have to be more than that, because that's how they see me, that's how they treat me. So I play the game, I do my hustle, I get paid about it, and I go about my day. They pay me for my entertainment. I'm not stupid, I'm fun. And I learned so much from this mental ill man that everybody says he's mental ill and crazy, but to me, he was the smartest man. I learned so much game from him if I just sat and listened. And I tried to explain that to people all the time, family included. Just listen to him. Y'all think he's mumbling and just talking under his breath and not making sense, but he's saying some real stuff.
Right.
If you just sit and listen and take the time and have the patience to hear what he's saying.
Yeah, I can
Exactly.
I can agree with
And
that.
hi, Tabitha. We appreciate you, no doubt. But
Hey,
no,
Tab.
so that kind of brings us to our first question, you feel me? Which is,
Oh,
you got it?
yeah.
There you go.
What are things that we don't recognize as traumas? Now, in the Black community, we have a lot of traumas, and they, all stem from slavery in some form of way, but it's a lot of things that we don't talk about. It's a lot of things that we don't talk about that are our traumas. And so I want to know, especially from two men, what do y'all feel like, what are the things we don't recognize as our traumas?
Go ahead.
I'll let my guest go first. Go ahead.
Okay. I think my main one, I was talking to Mark about it earlier, is religion. It's hard to talk about because you're Black. You feel like you got to be in the church. You're raised in the church. That's just what it is when it comes to slavery. But I look at it as we didn't speak English. We didn't speak their language. We didn't read their language. So you teach me how to talk English. You teach me how to read English. You give me a Bible that's in English, that's not my religion. And I'm supposed to just be faithful to that and loyal to that for the rest of my life. We have family members and some people within ourselves put religion first before you put your own life, before you put your kids, before you eat, and it's sometimes it gets crazy. And I feel like it's a mental thing. I feel like it becomes a mental thing when you start putting it before your own life, when you start putting religion solely as your life and not living your life. And I feel like that's a Black thing when it comes to more so like detrimental, because we look at, oh, God, got to go to church every Sunday, got to go to Bible study on Wednesdays, got to pray every morning, pray before you eat. Why don't you just know that you trust yourself that I made a good meal? You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like after a while it becomes crazy, but then again, it makes it a hard topic because as Black people, it's still inside you that God's there. He's an upper being. So I feel like that's a mental detrimental, you know what I mean? A mental held back thing that we have as religion is just bad for us. I think is once we break out of that, figure a way to, I'm not religious more so than anything. So to me, I just kind of live by regular life morals, be nice to people, stay nice to people, love them, they love you. Once they disrespect you, then all game is fair. But other than that, just do upon you as you want people to, treat you. So that once we start putting it as that and it's just regular life and not, oh, well, if I do this, God forgive me. It's a forgive me for all my sins. So if I fuck up, whatever. How about you just don't fuck up? Don't, you know what I mean? Don't mess up. Then you'll be good. So I think that's just one of them. What do you think, Mark?
I mean, that's a real, interesting point. You feel me? Like, my background. I come from a family of pastors. And, it's always been, like God's the reason. You feel me? I woke up this morning, thank you, God. Oh, I got this job. Thank you, God. I definitely, the only thing is I wouldn't necessarily call that, I mean, through your explanation, I can see why you would view that as a trauma, you feel me? And, ultimately just living life as, do good unto me, I'll do good unto you. But that's a real interesting point. I don't really understand how to go about it. I think another big part is, white Christianity is not the same as Christianity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we talked about
that. Or what they taught us was to their benefit.
Right.
And then
Makes
our
them
ultimate
better, and that's
distraction.
why I can't believe it. But it's religion. It's with the religion we know. So that's why you don't go off of what you don't know, what you don't experience. You go off of what you're raised on. It's just like that. That God, that's the God we knew for 400 years, 500 years now. You know what I mean? 500 years, you know, the white God. You know what I mean? So if you got the white God,
Supposedly.
supposedly, that's what I'm saying. As that's what we were. That's what that's what you were given. That's what, you know what I mean.
That's what so many still believe.
And people still believe in that, and even still, it's still a belief. I believe that's what you were given. So other people believe that they were given that to give to us. So if it gets deeper than that, that's your belief. And I think another mental thing is not letting people, black people, don't let people believe what they want to believe. They have this mentality in their mind, and that's what it is. No matter what you believe, well, yeah, he could believe that. He wrong, whatever. He's stupid, you know. And it just let them believe that. If they believe that, that's what makes them comfortable. When they go, they'll be comfortable with that. Because that's all a belief is. It's hope. It's giving somebody hope, giving someone faith. If you just believe, hey, if I'm good to people, if I give money, I'm gonna get money. If you believe, you know what I mean? Hey, you know, you got people that believe all types of different things. That's what gets them past it. If we stop wanting to make people believe what you believe and just accepting their belief for what it is, I think black people would also be better at it too. So it's just a religion was hard.
I see, you know, I hear where you're coming from, and you know, I respect it because it's true. It's that the religion aspect is a trauma, and in the black community, it's true. It's hard to respect other people not believing in the same thing as you, and that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. If you believe what you believe, and that's fine. But I believe what I believe, and you have to respect that. I'm not going to disrespect what you believe. Don't disrespect what I believe. Now, I think, you know, it's like Tabitha says here. She says, "Do you have to subscribe to religion to have faith in God?" And I don't think you do. You know, like I don't think you do, because you know, like I'm more spiritual. Like I'm not. I don't want to say I'm religious. I really don't. I'm more spiritual, and I do believe that spiritually, I don't have to subscribe to any religion to know that there is a God, to believe that there is a God, to have my faith in God, to know that I woke up today by the grace of God. Oh, and you know, any of that, and I grew up in the church, and I grew up in the church, okay? And so, you know, growing up, especially in my teenage years, I seen a lot of stuff in the church behind the scenes that goes on that it's like, this can't be of God. If y'all talking about this holy being and the things that go on within the church, and y'all are okay with this and y'all let it happen, and this is of God, but you can't convince me of that. And I've seen Christians turn people away from the church. You're not supposed to turn anybody away from God, no matter their background, where they come from. If you feel me, they're in a place of trauma. You know, if we talk about believing in the Bible it says, "Come as you are." And he will accept you. So you're not supposed to turn anybody away, no matter what they look like, where they come from, you know. And I've seen it happen. So that religion piece makes it super hard for the Black community to grow, because so many Black people are consumed in what was given to us, what was given to us, and not being comfortable with being uncomfortable and unlearning those things that we were taught. And that's what we have to do. We have to be comfortable and being uncomfortable to unlearn those things. We know that God is not white. Jesus was not white. You know, we think about it demographically and geographically of where, if we're taking it from the Bible specifically, in Africa, and nowadays who lives in Africa is Black people. Black people sent from Africa. So how is God white?
That's deeper because I was just talking to my little bro earlier. I looked up earlier. The last slave ship that came to America was in 1860. Matilda McGreer is the person that was the last slave brung to America, apparently. America has a trend to keep ancient stuff from years and years and years. And you telling me out of all the things that you have taught us in slavery, y'all didn't keep not one slave ship? I think that's a part of trauma and part of brainwashing and all of that that has to deal with it, because that's bullshit to me. That's bullshit to me. There's no way you're America that has stuff from 1776 is when the Declaration of Independence was, and they still have it. So you telling me you didn't have a slave ship from 1860?
Right.
I just whatever. Okay, sure. So brainwashed that we was really brung here. People from Africa, they have variety of different people, but most people from the Africa that they told us in slavery that we took, they look like Africans. I feel like us black people, me, my brother, you, we look like what Native Americans look like. And until we start respecting that, find who your tribe is in Native America, not Africa, then we would probably find some more truth and find some type of, comfort in within yourself. And that's why me trying to search for that within myself, I feel better within myself trying to find that. My brother know, I talk to him about it, trying to find out what tribe I'm from, what did they praise, who did they praise, what did they believe in, was it the sun god, water god, whatever it was. But that's life. And people want to sit here and say, oh, we were brung from slaves and we were African. I got African friends. And I know when they came here when we was kids and we used to say, oh, we was brung from y'all. They was like, man, fuck y'all. Y'all not African. Y'all American. Y'all American. I got African friends, Liberian, Nigerian, you know what I mean? And they would tell us that when we first met, y'all are not African. They ain't come from here. We ain't learned that. And it was crazy because I started thinking, like, are you learning different stuff in different places? And they are, because the same people that run the whole school board for the world is the same people that's racist around the world. People don't know their history. You got to learn history and learn that this world is built on racism. So
that's deep. And before we get deeper into that, because we got a question about that. Let's tap into the comments real quick.
Okay.
So we got Lorenzo. He says, Kenny, 100, 100, 100. In the Latino community as well, the church is the religion of our colonizer slave masters. We are taught that we are inferior and need to be saved to the benefit of our oppressors, rather than being the strong people that we are capable of becoming. That's deep.
Yeah, I agree with that, because in the Spanish community as well, it's the same thing. A lot of people don't understand that like the Mexican race is from Spaniards and Aztec people. That's how you became what that is. A lot of Mexicans don't understand that. So when you learn that the Spaniards is came from the same people that we was coming from, and they came in and they raped, murdered, slaughtered, and then retaught us another Christianity, and we all end up believing in the same thing. And just, different religion. So that's deep. That's deep. It's not just black community. It's just the minority community, if you really want to think about it. So hey, bro, I sent you on Facebook a video of Area Spears. If you don't have time today, whenever y'all do touch back on topic, I want y'all to watch it. It goes off of the same religion, and it's kind of the reason, the reason why I believe in what I believe in. So I sent you that. If you ever want to watch it, it's about let's see. I was telling you about it earlier, 4 minutes and 37 seconds. So
you
decide that.
Okay, and then Tab says, Christianity is horrible and religion altogether destructive. I'm an Israelite. That's my God-given heritage. And then
that's deep too. I can also say with Israelites, some of them to me seem brainwashed in a way, but that's deep. It gets deeper than, I mean, it's I think it's just, if you live your life, and that's just me, all religion, Israelites, Muslims, they all speaking the same thing. They all want you to just live the same way. Don't eat pork. but we all decide to eat pork anyway. They all say love honor thy mother, thy father. They all say love one another, don't kill. That's life. We don't need a higher being to tell me that pulling this gun on you is not the right thing to do. When you go do it, and if you're shaking, then you know you ain't supposed to be doing it. We know that when you were a kid, if you go touch something, you wasn't supposed to touch it. Once somebody says, hey, you turn around with that scared face, you know it's wrong. So you know right from wrong. You just have to learn the different rights from wrong throughout life. So I don't think you need
for me it's you know, the Bible is, you know, in whether, you know, church or not, it's and for me it's the Bible, because it's the Bible. For, you know, for other people they have the
that's
Quran.
your trauma.
Yeah,
each person has their own trauma.
So, and for other people they have the Quran, or, you know, whatever they use, which, you know, when in the Black community it's an uncomfortable topic to, you know, talk about, knowing what the different books talk about. You either, like with religion, you stick to what yours is. So Christianity is the Bible, you know, like Muslim is the Quran, right? And you're supposed to stick to that. But in the Black community, what we have to accept is that it's okay to explore, right? You have to explore in order to understand how other people think. And if you don't explore the different realms, it's just like you can't understand how other people think, and you can't relate to, whether you agree or not. It's not about agreement, right? It's just about understanding how it is that they think and where it is that their trauma is coming from. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, with the Bible, it's the basic instruction before leaving Earth. All the things that we should know to do in life that should be common sense, right? Because common sense is not common. And you go through life and you learn that. You grow up learning that common sense really is not that common to most people, unfortunately. And so those things that we learn about in life, like for me, religion not being a part of it, using the Bible to say some people are visual and have to see it. So I can use the Bible and the Quran next to each other and say, because they do in certain parts say the same thing. Do not kill, do not steal, honor thy mother and thy father, no fornication, you know, adultery, you know, all those things. Some people need to see that visual and to see, well, there's a visual for you, whereas other people, it is that basic common sense. Because I want people to be good to me, so I'm going to be good to other people. That's just common sense, but not everybody understands that level of logic. It's like, I don't know, that's what's weird to me, is that those basic common sense skills are not common. And for a lot of people, it's something that has to be directly taught to them. It's not just common knowledge. You have to actually sit down and teach them. And when people come up in different lifestyles and come from different backgrounds, certain things are hard for them to understand, like that thou shalt not kill. When you come up in poverty, per se, and what you're being taught is that survival is the only way, and survival means to kill. That's what you're being taught. You have to unlearn those skills. And for some people, that shit's hard. It's just hard to unlearn because it's all they've ever known.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? No. No.
We go out there with that one.
But it's the destructiveness of our mindset, right? It's like you were saying earlier, that brainwash, that shit's real. Our people are so brainwashed from slavery. You figure, slavery was not that long ago. It was not. Slavery was not that long ago, right? And what, you know, the school systems and the white people want you to think and how they present it to us is that it was forever ago. That's how they present it to us. Like it was forever ago. So a lot of Black people do not do the research on their own because they're lazy. So they don't want to do the research on their own and actually realize this shit was not that long ago. This is really just around the corner from just happening.
Right.
Which means it can happen again because it wasn't that long ago.
Right. Well, because I look at it like vaccines was made in 1796. The first vaccine for smallpox and chickenpox was made in 1796. And then you telling me I'm supposed to trust vaccine? It was
Thank
just
you.
made not too long ago. Like I just, you know what I mean? And then before that, people was living hundreds to be 100 years old. And now people barely living to be 40, 50, 60, just dying. Oh, why? I don't know. He just dropped. Oh, bury him. Like, nah. So I definitely agree with that. But that's part of question number 2, which is unlearning and relearning. You have to unlearn that. So, yeah, I was about to go to. Oh, my bad. I was about to
Yeah,
read it. I was
no,
pulling it up.
he got it. Yes, absolutely. What do we need to unlearn and reteach in the Black community? And this comes to a multitude of things.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna go off of the last thing you said when it comes to being survival of the fittest. I'm from Darby, PA, which is the suburbs of the county of Philadelphia. So right next to Philadelphia. Growing up, I was just talking to my sister how "Get Rich or Die Trying" album came out in 2003. I was 10 years old in 2003, singing "Many Men," "Wish Death Upon Me," "Blood in My Eyes, Dog, and I Can't See." You know what I'm saying? And it's deep because it's like I'm 10 years old. I don't know nothing about that, but I know the words. And then still from 2003, I still know that song like the back of my hand. And people try to say music isn't a thing. Music isn't inspiration. It's not a bad influence. It is. It is. We just have to learn how to learn that it is. Learn that there's music that our kids should hear and shouldn't hear. And be strict on that. You know what I mean? Because if we're not strict on that, like you remember, there was a time where my kids knew at 2 years old, knew the whole Roddy Ricch, the box. And I thought it was cool at first. But then I really was like, hold up, my 2-year-olds are sitting here singing about drinking lean and killing people. Hold up, all right, let's not play this. Yeah, like I know it. Y'all can sing the beep, boop. But after that, we're not gonna play the whole song because you shouldn't be singing that. And other than that, that's about it. Like, and this is you have to relearn that just because it's survival of the fittest in Philadelphia, don't mean you got to rock around with a gun. Let's relearn fighting. Let's relearn that. Get your ass
home at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I mean, I think so with the music, it's and that's speaking to the culture of the industry, right? Because the culture that it is today was not always what it was.
Right.
You feel me? We used to have, music. You used to have actual activists who were doing their activism work through their music. The rap game done changed completely. You feel me?
I can understand that. Well,
the over-sexualization of the industry is what has changed the music game, because now, you feel me, when rap was getting big first, that inspirational type of music was dope to everybody. Everybody loved it. And then
it was dope to Black people. White people
dope. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
White people hated it. And that's why in 1993 they had big meetings in LA and in New York. And there's some sellout people that's still in the industry to this day that was in those meetings that got told, hey, from now on, this is the type of music that we're going to be putting out. You're either going to put this out and promote it, or we're not going to play you. So that's why Black people and a lot of artists in the industry had to go around and start their career off with rapping about bricks and stuff like that. And then now they're trying to change their demeanor and change the way they make music, because that's not really what they want to promote to their kids. But it's already too late.
Yeah.
Speaking of like David Banner, if you watch him and his meetings in Congress, when he goes to the school boards and he tries to make stuff change in Mississippi, all they view him as a rapper. No, all because he made his song you know what I mean? Real girls get down on the flow. He always will think that of women. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they look at him. If you don't put this in your music, then we won't try to help you in real life. So we learn to stop embracing that life, that gangster life, that killer's person, that snitches get stitches. You have to be gangster. You have to be a baller. You have to be a rapper. If we can really start being something, doctors again, we can start. You know what I mean? We're getting back to it. Colleges. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. We're getting back to it, but we have to embrace that.
I think that's true. Mark, tap in.
Okay. So, just to kind of shift the topic, but it's one that kind of would resonate with pretty much everything we'll talk about, is ultimately we have to reteach love. You feel me? Or even I wouldn't even say reteach, but just teach it in general, because since we was brought over here, we was taught to hate each other, whether it was based off of oh, you're darker or lighter than me. Anything, even to men versus women, like we just gotta start loving one another. And then I think what that will do is, in return, then we start paying attention to the music that our kids are listening to. Then we start paying attention to the over sexualization. You feel me? And then we start getting into the killing one another. Because as soon as you one learn to love yourself, then you can start showing compassion to those around you. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So I think, a good thing to reteach or just teach in general is love. You feel me? And then unlearn the mentality that they instilled into us.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep, because one of the biggest traumas in the Black community is that we don't love each other. Regardless of how anybody feels, we might show love in some areas, but the over general big picture is that we really don't love each other, because we fight too much, we argue, we can never agree to disagree. It's an issue and a problem in certain areas, anywhere, and we have to really bring that focus back on loving each other. We have to be comfortable with knowing that you're not gonna hurt me. Like, we don't trust each other. It's a trust thing too, also, right? Because yes, I want you to love me, but I also want you to trust me. I want to be able to trust you. I want to be able to know that if I ask you to do something for me, you're gonna get it done. You feel me? Or if I need you to teach me something, you're gonna teach me properly. You're not gonna rob me of what I need to be taught. You're not gonna belittle me, neglect me, and put me down. We have to actually be there for one another, and that's hard because we're selfish. We're a selfish people. It's always about me. You ask a Black person, say a Black person starting a business, cool, that's great. You feel me? What'd you do? What'd you get there? And this is where the religion comes in. Oh, I have faith in God. I trusted God, and God made a way for me. When it's like, no, what
that's
the hell did you
that's
do to start your business? You feel me? That's what I'm asking. You trusted in God. That's great. Okay. All right. But what the hell did you do to actually start a business? I'm asking you to help me. Like, even if you say I went to the library and I looked shit up, say that to me, because I might need that to be said. Right. I went to the library. Okay, I need to go to the library. Then I did the research and I looked stuff up. I researched this person and this person and this person. And Black people don't want to give that type of information because they're selfish. They don't want to share the tools that they got to get to where they are, because we really don't want to see everybody at the top with us. Why not? We should all want to see each other be successful and striving and being on top of the world, living our best lives.
Reason why not is because they have us brainwashed to feel like everybody can't make it. But then we say it's brainwashed, but then, like I tell Mark all the time, everybody can't make it. And that's, as Black people, we have to accept. As Black people, we have so much pride in ourselves that we think we're better than everything. You know what I mean? I had a time, and I still have a time, where I have something that I'm better than working at a fast food restaurant. I'll work anywhere else, but I'm not working in fast food. I just think and know that I'm better than that. But somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to, but not
somebody got to do it. Everybody can't be famous. Everybody can't be the head of a big company. Everybody can't be the manager of a big company. Everybody can't be the supervisor of a big company. So when you learn, relearn, and teach that, look, be what you can be. If you got great customer service, then go be at a customer service job and have the best customer service ever, because that's what we need there. We don't need people that don't really want or care about customer service to be in customer service. If you don't care about customer service.
My bad. That just kind of speaks to that survival mindset that they instilled in us. You feel me? Because it's like we're under the impression that the only way to survive is to be ahead of everything. or be the
Sometimes
boss.
you got to be at the bottom.
But
You gotta pace
everybody got
yourself.
to play their role.
You gotta pace yourself. You gotta pace. So it's like, so I don't know if y'all watch Blackish, but I watch Blackish. It's one of my favorite shows. Y'all, Blackish is.
I don't watch TV.
Okay, I love that. I really do, and I wish I had that discipline.
Yeah.
But so I watched Blackish, and in one of the episodes, it was just on this morning too. So back to we were just on. Y'all gotta help me out.
Blackish.
Yeah, no. But what were we just talking about?
Playing the role and pacing ourselves, and not everybody can be.
Okay, so not everybody. So Blackish, the kids, they have like 5-6 kids, right? There's a set of twins, and they go to a private school or whatever, white schools. They took an aptitude test to figure out, what they might be when they, get older. And for the daughter twin, she got a person in political power or something, and the son got a person in like union labor work, and the parents were so hurt and disappointed, and that's what he got. When the grandfather was like,
what?
Why? Why? If he's going to be a plumber, we need plumbers, we need mechanics, we need electricians, we need all of the things. And the parents was like, that's not what we're raising our kids to be. We want our kids to have careers, not jobs. Well, for some people, that is a career. That's what the hell they're good at. You could. The thing is, people with that type of mindset, right? They don't realize that people who go to trade school rather than college end up making more money and having less debt and loans than the people who go to college and have a career and can't find a job right when they graduate,
15,
right?
15
Whereas somebody in
hour.
trade can start their own business immediately.
100%.
When I left, my father put me on HVAC, was telling me about HVAC for the longest. HVAC, plumbing, HVAC, electrician. It's a year-round job. No matter what year it is, you're always going to need lights. No matter what time it is, you're always going to need plumbing. No matter what you always going to need heating, venting, or air conditioning. So always getting to those, but they try to teach you and brainwash you to go to college to take your money. Make
or
you
sell drugs and get
or
in prison.
Sell drugs. Or you have to be a ball player. Or you have to be a football player.
You have to be a rapper.
Or you have to be a rapper. So if we get our kids into trades like that, we start learning that. But that's where it comes from. It comes from you learning that. And then as a kid, when you figure out how to do HVAC on your own, go find a house. You know what I mean? You know how we was talking about, Mark, go build a house up together.
I think that's where we have to reteach, relearn. We have to start that young, right? We have to, and you feel me, coming from looking back, from the olden days, that is looked at as man's work. And it needs to be universal, right? It needs to be co-ed, because when I was in school, my major was engineering technology. And, before my life changed around or whatever, I, wanted to be an architect. I wanted to build houses. That was my thing. And, one of my traumas is that's what my dad did, because, he was a felon and couldn't really get a job. They flipped houses and, they were in the construction field. And so I remember asking my dad, like, when I come home from the summer, can I like flip houses with you? And so like, for those of you who watch, y'all know my trauma with my dad and Mark, this man, y'all, this piece of shit. This man told me, he told me no, because that's a man's work and that's not the field that I need to be in. And I'm really, you feel me? I'm too pretty to do that. And that shit broke my heart, because first of all, this is what I'm in school to do. And not only am I in school to do that, I'm top of my damn classes. I'm dean's list, president's list. Like, I'm on top of the shit. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing. I can do this. And so for my dad to be the one to tell me I can't do it, y'all, I wanted to slap dude, but we was on the phone, and I don't know what I would have done if I had that conversation in person, because it truly hurt me. But those type of jobs, like Kenny was saying, they're year round. They don't stop. They never go away, and they will never go away. They're gonna always be there. They're important. They're important. Just get better, and honestly, they make you money.
Facts.
But jumping into this third question,
number 3.
So we have time for these solutions. So is the stigma of who Africans are and who Black people are, or yeah, Blacks are, culturally speaking, damaging to the identity of the Black community? And I think this kind of just speaks to what Kenny was saying earlier, how like we have this like cultural difference between like Africans and then African Americans. You feel me? Like I've definitely ran into you know, some African brothers who like darn near belittle me like like you think you Black for real,
You
and
know what I'm
like
saying?
really
Like,
like came for
make
me.
you
I'm
feel
like,
like
of course
nothing.
I'm Black, like what you mean, like, and then
You
they're
ain't Black.
like nah, like you ain't black, like you ain't African, and I'd be like, well, nah, that's the
You're
motherland,
not
like
true Black.
that's
You're
my
not from the
people.
motherland.
Me, but they come for you, and there's definitely that cultural difference. And again, you know, it just goes back to, you know, what you were saying, like it stems from slavery, like we were taught. You feel me? Like the lighter you are, the more pure or the more right you are, and I feel like that disconnects us from our African heritage, if that's where you are from. And well, yeah, what do y'all think about that? So we can get into
I
the
think what Kenny
solutions.
was saying earlier was deep, speaking to, getting in tune and in touch with our Native American heritage, right? Because white people weren't here originally, right? It was Native Americans, and they're not white, they're not Caucasian, they're melanated. They have
Mm-hmm.
melanin in their skin as well, right? So and that's what is not really talked about in the Black community. That's a trauma that we have that's not talked about, because we do stem from that. So yes, we came from Africa. We have those that came from the slave ships and, right across the border, ocean. But then they also enslaved Native Americans as well. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's not talked about. That part is like kind of like left out. Like, hold on, let's not tell them that part. Let's not tell them that part and leave it. Kenny, you so precious because you on mute.
Oh, ha ha. Oh man, I forgot. All right. Yeah. I remember watching like the Indian in the Cupboard when I was a kid. That reading that book and watching that movie, and it's like you call them an Indian, and you're like, oh yeah, the Indians, and then you just like forget about them. You call them Indians, you know about the movies, you talk about them, but then you totally forget about them. They're trying to fight for their pipelines. They're trying to fight for their land in Arizona and Nevada, and I think somewhere out here in Denver as well too. You know what I mean? But nobody cares about Native Americans. How many Native American tribes were there? All this land, and you telling me it was just only a few of them that they just came here, and then now all the white people own it. So yeah, it's definitely something that is affecting from when it comes to African. Like if there's some of us that are African or have African descent in our family from somewhere down the line, but are we African? Nah, I don't necessarily. I think some of us are Native Americans. I think it was people here, it was Africans there. Remember, this is all Pangea. It was all together at one point. If we learn,
Right.
we don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about that.
Right.
We was all together. We weren't China and Asia.
And that's why I say I'm
It was
Black. I'm not African American. It can't be African American because yes, of course, the thing is, we don't know, right? I don't know if my direct ancestors were from off the slave ships or if they were Native American slaves. I don't know if they were a mixture of the two, because of course they got mixed at some point, of course, right? Because the slave trade and all of that, they're being traded across the nation. So of course they got mixed up, but we don't know for sure. So I got African blood in me, I believe, and I know I have Native American blood in me. The thing is, what that heritage. So we have that disconnect. The Africans don't see us as African because we don't have that same culture and heritage. You hear African, you hear Black person, you don't think of them the same culturally. Yeah. You don't think of them the same culture. African, you think of the dashikis, the food style is different. Everything, the music, everything is different when you think about it. And then you think of a Black person, the picture in your head is not going to be how you picture an African. Right. It's going to be, you feel me? You're going to have a different, and food included, like down all the way to the food, culturally and ethnically, the heritage was broke. Right. It was broke. And you can't say that you want to truly get back to it if you ignore the Native American part in it, because that's a whole different heritage and culture within itself. So that's our identity. Who are we
No
truly?
doubt.
Who are we truly? That's our identity. We got to figure out our identity.
Right, and that's pretty much where it comes down to answering all three questions all at once. It's just figuring out who you are, and then at the end of the day, like I said, letting people believe what they want to believe. I don't try to tell nobody that they not Christian, they're not Muslim, they're not Buddha. Whatever you want to be, that's what you want to be. Whatever you let them believe. But people have to find a comfortability. If you don't have something you believe in, then you're lost to me. So I'm not saying you have to be religious. I'm just saying believe in something. If you want to believe that you don't have to believe in anything, then hey,
at least you believe in that. If you don't stand for
belief.
something, you're called for anything.
I accept that. And then when you can accept that other people can believe in what they believe and still be human, that's it. Yeah, then you can, you know what I mean, you can get past it. So I think it's a good question. I feel like that's a good response to it. We got the
Exactly.
solution video.
So Mark, as you pull up the solutions, we'll tap into them for these last couple minutes. I'm gonna tap into the comments.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So Tabs, said earlier, she said, in 2021, people don't want to get their ass whooped, so they rather shoot. They gain and keep their reputation that way. Exactly. People they don't want to fight no more. They're scared to fight. They're scared to get beat up. When that should not be the case at all. You should not be scared. You should not be scared to fight. But the thing is, that's why we have to teach each other to love. Like, you should be loving each other, but at the same time, you have to learn how to defend yourself too. But know when to defend yourself. You don't always have to defend yourself in a violent way. We have to teach communication in a proper way. Teach our people how to properly communicate. That could go deep. I could go on about that one.
You go all day about that.
Yeah, so Lorenzo,
but y'all should both want to go home. My bad, you.
Yeah,
but y'all should both want to go
Nobody
home at the end of the day.
Y'all should both want to go home to your families.
Go
exactly.
Home. That's deep right there.
Renzo says, I have come across ancient Aztec, Maya, Native American spiritual practices, as well as Eastern practices like meditation, that have helped me unlearn some of the destructive behaviors and mindsets embedded into me by this society. I am now a significantly happier, more free, more easygoing, loving, more compassionate kind of person. And I think there are scientific studies on how these practices literally help you rewire your brain and break old habits.
Exactly. It's pretty much exactly what I was saying. So I don't even need to talk about it because finding yourself.
And that's what it comes down to. And Tab says all these athletes and celebrities that have made it could pull their communities up and make them better, but they leave them by the wayside. And that's true. Yeah, that's true. Like how many of these celebrities do you really see showing up for their communities? It's like a handful and a few who are really doing it.
And then I'm from Meek Mill try to do it, and the whole city bash him anytime he do anything. He could give toys out. He could make
and that's the problem. Why, if they trying to help, why bash him?
Because that's Philly.
that's everywhere,
That's Philly. If you hear about sports Philly, like that's what they do. They bash their own people. That's
and that's a trauma.
It is. It's a trauma. It's trauma. It's a trauma.
Man. And Renzo tapped in and also said, I've also used these spiritual practices to help me overcome my trauma. So no matter what I've been through, I know how to be happy and loving. And that's deep.
Yeah. No doubt. I'm still learning how to be happy and loving fully, to be honest. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have my times where I'm like, so giving toys out isn't really helping the community, giving folks some food. I mean, It's food, it's clothes. He doesn't just do toys. He gives out bikes for the kids. He gives out book bags and
He
shoes.
trying to be in the community.
Just showing love.
Yeah, that man show love,
Yeah.
man. That man show love.
See,
to the
okay, y'all,
kids.
and I throw this example out all the time, like for Denver specifically, but like, you know, because, you know, a lot of people love Chauncey. And I just feel like, you know, when you come from your community, you've come from that hood and you've seen what it, you know, does to people, and you come back and you know, operate a basketball camp, in my mind, there's no reason why your basketball camp should be $2,000, $3,000 per kid. Doesn't make any sense to me. And then you may or may not sponsor a couple of the kids to get in because, you know, they don't have it to get it. When why your program should be free. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm sorry, excuse my language, y'all, but I don't care. Like, why are you charging?
I wouldn't necessarily say free.
3,000.
I wouldn't necessarily say free because that's like somebody that made it in credit, you know, building your credit. They build in credit. That's what they do. And then they made it doing that. And then they got friends in their community. And it's like, okay, so you build credit. And because you made all this money and you're wealthy off of building credit, now you need to come here and for free. Why are you charging me to build my credit? Because that's how that's how I became rich. If I don't charge you, I would end up being broke if I always do that, because at the end of the day, you're teaching someone what you know for free. A lot of people don't get that, so you don't make a camp.
Yes, and that
you don't make a camp and then make it free.
No,
so
but 2,000, 3,000 per kid.
That's ridiculous. No, but I'm definitely gonna do something. But I guess, you know, it depends. It depends, because when you're running a business, when you're running a basketball camp, you're trying to do it legitly, and you want some of these kids to make it to the NBA. Yeah, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta put that effort in. You gotta
invest in the kids at that point. Then you have to be really all informed, teach them how to fundraise properly and do that. Because when you're doing a basketball camp for kids from the hood who are already in poverty, they ain't got to, you feel me? And then there's some kids where, you feel me, parents put their kids in programs like that because they have multiple kids.
Mm-hmm.
So per kid,
I can understand that.
Kid, that's expensive. That's expensive.
I can understand that. That's why I said a higher price, but I wouldn't say for free.
Prestigious kids who got bank. We're doing it for kids who already don't got the money and they want to learn so that they can someday have the money. But it's like, you know,
I can understand.
And I hear what you're saying. You gotta.
I can understand that.
You gotta charge a price.
You gotta
make it fair. So if for the program, if there's a portion or a percentage that needs to be covered, then you cover that, and you charge what is reasonable for the target audience that you have.
Yeah,
that's how you keep people coming back. That's how you keep the support, the loyalty, the love.
Right.
But we gonna jump into these solutions in the last 3 minutes.
Ooh, let's do it.
So y'all, I got these solutions. This is called the Black Agenda. Yeah,
I'm gonna just scroll. You let me know when to stop.
Keep going. Scroll. You're gonna go down quite to like that page 9. Right here, actually, the overview. Okay. The overview. These are the things, the top things. My bad.
Oh wait, this part?
Yep, the overview. Right here. Go down a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on these topics here. So they say these are, you know, some of the topics in their Black Agenda. So they have make Black people powerful in the economy. That's one. Make Black people powerful in our society. Make Black people powerful in our democracy. Make Black people powerful in our communities. Make Black people powerful in our families. Make Black people powerful in our legal systems. So we ain't got time to go into all of them, but these are the bases of what they have. Make Black people powerful in all these areas: the economy, our society, our democracy, our communities, our families, and the legal system.
That's facts.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about those topics? Do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree? Do y'all think they missing something?
I
agree with
100%
all of
agree.
it, but I think that you would have to not have a trauma and don't think just because you have power in democracy, power in law, power in your family, power that these people will just give you a handout. That's a difference in between Black community and another community. Other communities, they don't just give handouts, they work together. Black communities say, hey, I want to wait till you make it, you do it. Oh, you build your company, you build this. And then once you get started, oh, can I join? Can you give me a job? Nah, why didn't you help me build this when I was asking you to help me build it? So that's another thing. You have to want to, when you say make this, help. Because then you're not going to help, don't ask for help if you're not going to help get to that. So if you're not going to have your kid learning about law, don't have to make them, but make them interested. Hey, look, if you don't learn about law, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have these cops that's going to keep doing this. But we look at law school, we look at Boy Scouts, we look at all of this stuff as corny and not cool because it's not playing ball. We have to, that's the goal. That's the route you have to take to that. What you think, right? Do you think?
No, I mean, I definitely agree with him and what you said. Just to highlight, I'll highlight two of them. The economy, financial literacy is something that we definitely got to learn because we're definitely business smart, but we do it in illegal ways, which allows them to imprison us. You feel me? And keeps our businessmen that know all about how to make money, but it puts them in that endless cycle of just continuing to get locked up and stuff. And then to highlight the second point is get them in legal roles. You feel me? Right now, as far as, you know, everybody pays attention to voting for presidency when really that's not even what we got to focus on. It's all the lawmakers and the judges and all that are convicted and placing laws under our people. So if we get our people into those roles, then we can start seeing real change. Presidency does matter to a certain extent, but it's the lawmakers and judges that hold the most power.
Right.
But what you think, G?
I agreed with them. I think they kind of, hit that right on the nose. The thing is, though, in order for us to become powerful in any area, we have to become powerful within ourselves and the mindset. And we can't do that when we're so lost in our identity. So it's like we have to heal. We have to heal, and we have to be comfortable in being uncomfortable and talking about the traumas and recognizing what different traumas and respecting that what I recognize as my trauma, you might have went through something similar, but you don't recognize it as your trauma. And we have to respect that not all the things that, because we look at Black people in the Black community, we went through a lot of things similarly. It gets joked about all the time on many social media platforms and movies and music and everywhere. You feel me? We went through some of the same stuff, but you have to respect that what somebody looks at as their trauma, somebody else might not look at as their trauma, and you have to respect that because it was traumatic for me, but it was healing for you. We have to respect that people have different, but we have to talk about those traumas. We have to talk about those traumas and be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what it comes down to. We have to figure out our identity. Yeah, we have to figure out our identity.
That's the whole. Yep. That's pretty much what I was saying. Figuring out your identity.
Yeah, figure out who you are, and then figure it out, and then fall in love with it. Boom, and that's all I got. Figure out the identity and then fall in love with it. Because
a lot of people need to watch that Disney movie Soul.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people need to watch that.
Eartha Kitt, y'all love me some Eartha Kitt. She says, in an interview, asking about being to compromise with a man, but she says, why would I compromise? I'm in love with me. So I want you to fall in love with me and be in love with me too. So you got to know your identity, fall in love with that identity. And then once you're in love with you, it's going to flow. It's going to flow and it's going to show, and everybody's going to fall in love with that too. So once the Black community falls back in love with the Black community, then everybody else is going to be just naturally fall in love with us and love us too, instead of appropriate us.
They always
absolutely.
That's gonna happen either way. You can't be us, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta try. You gotta try. But
but yes, that was a good podcast.
I agree.
Absolutely. But at
Thank
this
you.
time, we will be concluding. Appreciate the love to our viewers. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We got Make a Chess Move, Make a Culture Move, www.makeachessmove.org. Follow us on Facebook at Macam303, Instagram at Macam303,
Malcolm.
Macam303, Macam303, and subscribe to our YouTube at Make a Chess Move -Macam. Make sure to follow my boys' podcast, The Real Podcast.
Definitely follow that. Definitely follow that. It'll be coming soon. So
absolutely. So yeah, we appreciate your time, my brother. Much love. We appreciate our viewers to tapping in.
Hey, let me know. I'm free. So you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I'll come back on, man.
No doubt.
Dope.
But
it
yeah,
was nice
this has
having
been
you.
absolutely great insight.
Thank you.
But this has been your boy Mark J, Homegirl G, Brother Kenny. Y'all Macam out there.
Let's go.
Y'all Macam.
Oh, cop some apparel too. I almost forgot. Hold on.
Oh yeah, cop some apparel. Y'all gotta get some Macam apparel.
No, I got my Yams apparel. Just you know what I'm saying? Go to Yams. You know what I mean? Yams.inc. You know what I mean? Yamsinc.com. Yeah, Yamsinc.com.
Tap in.
You know what I'm saying? And go cop up some good apparel. They got good hoodies, hats, shirts, all that. So
yes, sir. But with that being said, y'all Macam out there, we appreciate y'all.